Let me mute my phone.
Okay. We're back!
Yay!
With very fun 2 episodes. Did you get back and then just watch them both?
I did, and it was Max's birthday, and I was like, okay, do we watch the second episode or do I wait for another day? But then we just jumped
Happy
into
birthday, it's depression.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and I was so sure he knew, but he was completely blindsided, which I liked.
Oh, he's never played the game. Oh, those aren't his type of games, right? Yeah.
No, he only periodically watched me play, but so briefly, and I managed to keep it hidden from him, I guess fairly decently.
I don't know, my sister, because I had to go in last week, and my sister's like, they made a huge spoiler for what happened in the last episode. I was like, do you even watch the show? Because I know she watched a little bit of the first season and she thought like it was good, but I don't know, I don't think she kept up with it. And she was like, no, but it's a huge spoiler. I was like, it's not really.
What? I didn't see anything leading up to it. What?
Joel dead.
They showed it?
No, there's a headline after the episode aired.
Oh.
I guess about like a character loss or something, probably like that.
Well, that would ruin the impact of it. I guess Max knew it was coming, but he, in a sense, he thought that Joel was going to go down like later in the season. Somehow.
I mean, that's not unfair to think, but
right.
So this is intros, I guess.
Oh yeah, we always skip this part.
I'm gonna stick with visceral reviews. We're talking about episodes 2 and 3 of The Last of Us because we couldn't be here last week. And
that's right.
Going with my name. I decided for this specifically. I'm Shannon.
And I'm Sonia.
Yay! We did it! All right. I don't know if I should go over it again. Spoilers for the show, obviously. Spoilers for the game, but we won't. I will.
We try to keep it contained.
Try to keep it contained. Yes. I think try is. I will try not to leap ahead. Sometimes it's really hard when you're just talking, though. Like, oh, but then this, because there's something we cannot speak. If we'll talk about the short rest. But no.
The short rest. Because there is something in this episode that we both want to talk about that we both don't like, but we can't do it.
No. This is why we should probably get on 10 minutes earlier and then before we start doing
this rant.
Just
and then
rant, be like, okay, it's out. Okay. But, so episode 2 was the episode. Everybody who played the games knew it was coming.
And it didn't hurt any less.
It didn't. I'll admit, for a lot of it, not a lot of it, when I saw how the episode was starting where Abby was, I was like, oh, how long is this episode? I wanted to fast forward just to get to it.
The wait was agonizing. I do appreciate how they did the whole episode, but I do have a question. I guess I'm curious what you think the impact of giving the audience a hint of who Abby is and her intentions prior to killing Joel did. Like, do you think the impact was obviously diminished a little bit, right? Because Joel's death in game, although it was hinted at with the trailers, we knew it was probably coming with Ellie on the warpath and that sad song. But like, Abby in the game was pretty much a stranger that you played, and we didn't know her motives until we got there.
I don't I feel like
the show feels like it's kind of course correcting a little bit Abby's character.
see,
Like, do you think that's worth it?
I don't know if it is. That's the thing. I don't know if it is course correcting because I feel like assuming people playing the game didn't understand where this was coming from, even if they didn't know the exact relationship of why she wanted this, right? Because I don't know if that ultimately matters, that it's her dad versus, like, I don't know, like her commander or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like how the first game ended and how the first season ended. If you introduce this new character, like, I don't think they ever kept it a secret that what Joel's gonna die.
You mean in the game trailers? Or the TV show trailers?
I guess, you know, I only watched the TV show trailers a couple times. I thought the game, like, I don't know if it was the game trailers necessarily gave it away. I just, the fact that there is going to be a sequel after how it ended gave it away.
Yeah, there's no story where Joel can survive.
Like that.
But
like, what story are we telling?
I think in the first 15, like that first, what was it, 10-15 second trailer or teaser trailer, you and I were texting like, oh, Joel's dead.
Oh no, when Ellie was like, I'm gonna kill them all.
Yeah, like that line was like, okay, so Joel's dead and this is a revenge story.
And then
but
he's
still,
totally
like, so
a ghost.
many people were, yeah, like there's no way Ellie's gonna say that line and Joel's not dead. But I guess it still caught people completely off guard. So I guess even if the show, what your sister was saying, I guess like even if the show did the same thing, people were caught off guard and they big mad.
I think people fooled themselves. Joel was such a huge part of the story. They can't do that. Like,
yeah, I went online, which I never do because the internet's never a good place to look if you want to keep a healthy mental space. Everybody is shocked that they would kill off the main character, and it's like, dude, this has always been Ellie's story.
Yeah, Ellie's the main character.
Yeah, like
Joel
you can
was our
have
vehicle.
Ellie without Joel. Yeah, exactly. You can't really have. Yeah, you can't have. Or you can have. No, wait. You can't have Ellie. You can have Ellie without Joel, but you really can't have Joel without Ellie.
Right.
The story. There's no story without her. So I don't know. I'm always curious where the disconnect is with these things and people.
I think it's so funny to me though, because you get people complaining about this, and while I know it's not the exact same people, you hear about shows like the type of show The Last of Us is. I feel like you have to expect these things, right?
100%.
But then I hear so many complaints about a show like Stranger Things. There's no real consequences because they only get like red shirts to die, like the guests of the series. When I feel like
okay, I didn't know that.
That's the show. The Stranger Things is Goonies TV. Right? Like, it's not meant to be. I mean, I don't know if they'll change it, obviously, because there's a final season and maybe they'll pull like a Joss Whedon. But it's kind of a heroes prevail story. And if there has to be like a sacrifice to like emotionally manipulate the heightened whatever, then that's what it is. But like, that's the show. This isn't that show. This is never like the whole Riley story of how Ellie figured out her immunity. Like, kind of tells you a lot about what the show is. So I don't understand I understand the upset. I don't understand the like, I'm never watching the show. That type of anger. It's like, what show were you watching? Because I don't know. Hello, you there?
Did I fall off?
Are you? Oh, you're back? Okay. Where'd you go?
Technical malfunction.
Technical difficulties, okay.
Where did we end?
I don't understand people who are like...
Who just can't take the show that they're watching into account. Like, people were complaining that it was too much like Game of Thrones, which I have not seen. But
I think
you
just
have
in
to
that they killed the main
expect-
character. That's it. That's what that's what it's like. Because I saw somebody complaining...
And the fact that it's like too gore. It's gory for the sake of gore, which I don't agree with.
Where? Unless we're talking about like the Joel scene, but that's the point.
Right. Like, it's supposed to be savage. It's supposed to be brutal. It's supposed to be this launching point for an Ellie we haven't seen before. And like, if Joel got shot in the head and like that's it, okay, like sad story, but like he was savaged.
Right. Like, and she watched that. Like, that's part of her trauma.
Ooh, so okay, another question. I know that you and I we talked last time about how Ellie's kind of giving a little bit more brat this season and
She
in show
decided
versus
it was
the game.
Brat Girl Summer.
It's Brat Girl Summer, so I'm wondering, and I felt it this episode too. I had a note being like, okay, I'm kind of over it, but I wonder if they chose to kind of accentuate that part of her character a little bit, because it kind of made that scream when she woke up from the hospital hit so much harder, because we have this like closed off girl, doesn't really express emotion, is very sarcastic and bratty, and then to see her crumble like that got me.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say she did. I think she expresses more emotion than Game Ellie did at this point in the game. Game Ellie was very stoic.
I guess, yeah, I think
Like,
she was
Game
stoic.
Ellie
I
was
guess
kind of shut down.
she was shut down, but I think Bella's going a little bit more bratty.
Yeah. But I thought she was okay second episode. I think she annoyed me most first episode, when she was being shitty to everybody who didn't deserve it. Like, to Joel, fine. Like, that's who you're mad at. But then when the way she was acting with the scout leader, when they're on the scout, and then just putting Dina in danger because she knows she's fine. That's what that's what annoyed me. But I thought she was okay. I thought she was fine second episode, and I also thought even though we don't see them interact until the end, and I don't know if she was doing it for show, I don't know why I keep forgetting his name. Jay. What the hell?
Jesse,
yes.
Jesse, yeah.
I just keep thinking the other name, and it's not correct. Jesse, yeah. She was very like, Joel is still, me and Joel are still me and Joel no matter what happens. Like, she was defending their relationship.
That's true. I like that part.
Yeah.
I also really like Jesse's casting.
It's so much harder too, because if you play the game, you know what's gonna happen. You're like, Ellie.
I know, this is your last chance.
But so I thought she was okay the second. Like, I don't know, maybe what happened at the dance hall was like a catharsis for her. She finally was, because it seemed like she wasn't acting out towards Joel. Because you remember when he went, I think it was the first episode, he went to her garage space? And she was very subdued. She wasn't like snarky or anything to him. She was just kind of... So she wasn't even treating him like she was treating the others. Like, she was actually being not a nice person, but like, she wasn't being terrible to him.
And when Joel was taking the guitar, she's like, to you, like you felt the
Yeah.
thawing. I do wish we got the scene where they made plans to watch the movie together, just
So
because
I
it
wasn't
made
gonna mention
everything
that.
feel so much worse.
Because
Is that a spoiler? That's not a spoiler.
well, okay. This is this is the hard part of talking about this, right? Because she saw him on the porch and walked away. But it seems like she thawed out for
okay,
him.
you're right. That could be.
So who knows what happened in between? Because I feel like there's some time passed. And you know what? I don't think this is spoiled because this was a trailer. We're obviously going to get flashbacks of their relationship. Like, this isn't Pedro's last episode.
Okay, see, I have not watched any trailers. I've literally watched nothing like about the show. I just watch the episodes. I couldn't see a situation where there wouldn't be flashbacks, but I didn't know, so
it's impossible.
I'm like, I don't know if I have to like walk around this.
And like, I'm sorry if that, whatever, you know, we're gonna see the relationship through the years. Like, we just have to. It's gonna be impactful. There's no way they're gonna ignore that. Like, and I'm like fairly sure we saw that in the trailers.
Okay.
But I don't like.
And you know what? Everybody online, all the gamers are telling all the show people it anyway. Like they have no chill, cannot contain their spoilers. So if you are on the internet spaces, you already know that.
If you're on Twitch listening to this, I feel like you know. Like, maybe when this goes to YouTube, it'll be, but whatever. I feel like context clues, though, I feel like they were softening. Even if we didn't see it on screen, it was from her. I don't think she would have defended the relationship like that if there wasn't something that we didn't
Good point.
see, you know? So I did like that moment, but it just also made it hurt more, what is the point, which is why we're totally getting flashbacks. Because they just want us to hurt more.
Truly, those people think they're broken, but this show is just so good at breaking people.
But
What did you think of?
Go ahead.
Go on.
No, I didn't have a question.
I'll save my question.
Just ask it.
Okay, so my question is, what did you think of the mix-up in pairings?
I liked it, actually. I thought it's also reinforcing, because I think they've really been trying to establish, because in the game, as far as we know, Dina just goes with Ellie because she likes Ellie.
Well, so there is the element of Dina's backstory that comes into it a little bit, which I don't know if the show is going to explain, but it's such a small thing that they really did need to give Dina more of a compelling reason. I'm sorry, just because you have a crush on somebody, and I guess if you grew up in the apocalypse, it's different, but I'm not gonna travel to Seattle with you across like infected land because I have a tiny little crush.
I'm not gonna go on a revenge tour for you because I like you. Will you date me? Yes or no? Maybe. If I help you kill these people.
Yes, no, maybe murder spree?
Yeah.
Question mark. That one.
But I like them. I like that they did it in the first episode. I mentioned, you know, her having her own relationship with Joel. I think it just makes sense. I think it makes more sense to do it in a show too than it would have in the game. Because that's just. Because I feel like, I think Neil said something in the after episode, but there's just certain things you can't do in a game because it's action oriented. So these little moments you can't really also have. Like Ellie in the hospital in the 3 months. Although, did that happen in the game? Was it that long in the game? I don't think she got that hurt.
I meant to look it up. No, she didn't. She got like the wind knocked out of her. The time jumping was kind of confusing in this, but
the time jumping gave me hope. I guess
the crew did need time to get back to Seattle.
That thing we're only going to talk about in the short rest. The time jump gave me hope, and then and then it didn't, and then they took it away.
So I'm very curious. There must have been a time jump, but
she was still pretty bruised up in the game. Like, I don't think it was next day, because there was also already Joel had already had a tombstone or a cross or whatever.
Also, I liked how they left at like 3 a.m. and the graveyards were 10 miles out, something like that.
You know, at first I was like, why would they do that? Why would they bury them so far? Then it makes sense, because you don't know when you're going to expand. You're just going to have the cemetery taking up space in an area where space is a commodity for living people. So at first I was like, Joel deserved better, but then I was like, oh no,
better.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I do like the town hall that they did. Because it does.
I really like the peek behind Jackson more.
Yes. Oh, you know what? Episode 2, what I wanted to mention, like, totally, was... First of all, we have texted and it, like, of what's going to happen, when's going to happen in the episodes. And I was like... And when we were talking about, like, when we thought Joel was going to die, I was like, I don't think it'll happen next episode, because the trailers already showed that it's going to be the Horde raid thing. And I just don't think they're going to have that on the same episode Joel's does. Because what is it? Joel's going to help save the town, and then also he's going to die. Like, that doesn't make sense.
It was so well done.
It was well done. And the setup of it was well done. And I remember I saw when the episode started and we saw where Abby was, I was like, oh, so this is the episode. And then I saw the setup, I was like, oh, this is very smart, and I never would have thought of this. Because in my mind, like, you can't do these two big things at the same time. That's just impossible.
And it was... So I will say, of the 3 episodes, right, I think the episodes are fine. Like, episode 1 was fine, episode 3 was fine, but episode 2 was so good. The way that I was nonstop texting you, because I also thought they were going to kill Tommy, I was sure they were going to do it, and, like, I was having a physical reaction to him getting got by the bloater, which, yay, finally we have a close-up of the bloater, by the way.
Do you know why? You know why you thought Tommy was gonna die? I know why, because I wanted to mention this too, that whole sequence. Because he had a flamethrower, and as cool as a flamethrower always is to get in games, it's never worth it. It's never good. It never helps you. It always runs out when you need it the most. But what I did love is they did the thing that happens in the game all the time too, especially with the ones like bloaters, where you're like using all your ammo to get it, and then and then you're like out, and you're like, oh my god, I'm so dead,
cringing,
and then it just and it crashes down. I'm like, that's a game reference right there. That
the fear, the utter fear, kind of closing your eyes.
Yeah, you're like, oh, this is it. I'm gonna have to start this all over. So
It gave so many flashbacks, but I also liked how it set Tommy up for the rest of the season.
I do like how he's how they're showing how much of a leader he is. Of like an actual, because I feel like it was like, he was kind of just like, he was sort of a leader in the game, like, but it wasn't so like explicit.
Right, and this makes you just so much more attached to him.
Yeah. And you know, I don't think you don't watch the after episode stuff on HBO, right?
I don't. I need to. The episode just ends. I guess I have to like go back and find it. It doesn't lead into the after effects.
Well, see, what
into
HBO
the after
does
show.
is when the episode ends, it does like the thing of what to watch next. You have to like click on it to keep it on screen. Like click on the little credits video that it's playing from the episode to keep it on screen, and then it'll keep going. Because if you notice, the episodes say they're like, the episode time is like 50 something minutes, but the whole length of the video is like 1 hour and 10 minutes. So then there's like a trailer after, and then there's a making of the episode, and they talk about like the characters and stuff. And the woman who plays Maria, she I don't know if this is canon or what she just thinks, but she thinks Maria voted yes.
I think Maria, Tommy, and Jesse voted yes, but I also think it could be kind of cool if later on we find out that even like Tommy voted no or
I'm
something.
wondering.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm wondering about, like, I'm wondering if Tommy voted no and he knew the votes would go the way it was, so he felt safe bringing this up, trying to, like, calm Ellie down. But then when he was talking to Gail, which I want to talk about too, when he was talking to Gail, he knew, because when she was like, I would totally accept your decision. My notes say narrator. She would not accept the council's decision.
Yeah.
Like, everybody knew that. But when he was speaking to Gail, he knew what he knew she wasn't going to stick around.
100%. And I like that conversation of, they were both, Tommy and Gail were so truthful about who Joel and Ellie are as characters. So Tommy's conversation with Ellie, where he was like, he's my brother, I know him better, not better than you, but like, don't pretend that I don't know him.
Yeah.
And then that lead into his conversation with Gail, which I think the audience also needed a reminder where, like, Joel wasn't a good person. And kind of Ellie's not either. I wouldn't say she's got as caught up in Joel, but that's the path she is on now. And I guess we'll have to continue that conversation as the season progresses, but
do you think, see this is my question, because she seemed pretty hardcore about Ellie, like she's just a liar. There's people who lie and there are liars. Ellie is a liar. I feel like she's got some beef with Ellie that we don't know about.
I don't know if it was beef, because I was team Ellie lies. I'm like, no, Ellie lies, but
no, absolutely, yeah. I'm not saying she doesn't.
But yeah, but like, I guess I can seeing how Ellie, because it was kind of established by Jesse and other people, like even Ellie going to that dance, and Jesse was like, oh, so you're part of the community now. It seems like Ellie has kind of removed herself from Joel, but hasn't really quite integrated with Jackson to the point where people are surprised to see her at things a little bit.
Or like she kind of othered herself?
Othered herself a little bit. She clearly has, I think, her trauma of protecting, I don't know if this is spoiler territory.
Her secret?
Because her secret and kind of Joel's reaction to it and the conversations she had with Joel. Whereas, like, does she believe Joel or not? You know what I mean?
That happened in the season 1, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to extend that a little bit. But I think Ellie othered herself a little bit to protect Joel and Joel's truth about the whole situation.
I'm curious. So this is pure speculation. I'm going off of nothing. Because we don't know Gail. Gail's not from the games. This is completely new.
Right. Glorious addition. Perfect addition.
But we do know Gail was married to
Eugene.
God, you're so much better at names than I am. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Gail was married to Eugene. Eugene was a Firefly, although it seemed like he quit pretty early on. So it's not like he was part of the whole Utah mess. Or even would know about an Ellie existing out in the world. But we know Joel killed Eugene. We know Gail knows that.
In a way,
there's a story.
But it seemed like Joel killed him because he was bitten, right? Because even Jesse said he had to put him down. I think he said.
Right. But as we've established, Joel and Ellie are liars.
Oh, that's good.
Right? Like, And I'm wondering if
So
Gail
maybe
suspects both of them, or maybe Gail has asked Ellie before. I don't know if Ellie was even there when it happened.
So wait, are you suggesting that Joel killed Eugene because maybe Eugene did know about Ellie and somehow
I think maybe
either said something to Ellie or Joel, and then they like concocted a, oh no, he was bitten, so I had to put him down situation?
I'm wondering if maybe, because, obviously, like, the Salt Lake crew that died, they're not, the Fireflies are defunct, but it's not like this little ragtag group of, like, offspring are what's left of them. Right? I think this was their big operation, and it failed, so the Fireflies fell apart, because I think a lot of their leaders were up there, but I think it fell apart, and then so the organized, because it was kind of like a ragtag operation anyway. I think just the whole Firefly idea fell apart when they died. I don't think they were the last Fireflies.
Yeah, Joel killed 18 people, they said this episode.
Right.
The Fireflies were much bigger than 18 people, but you're right. I think he killed enough critical people, and the Fireflies were kind of, yes, they were against Fedra, but they were also, we're going to find this cure. Here's the doctor. Now the doctor dead. Now the doctor's dead, and now who knows where the girl is? So,
and they might not even know who the girl is. It's just that their leadership is gone.
Right.
Like, I feel like everybody that was in the know was there. So I'm wondering. Well, no, because then this would match what I'm wondering, because they obviously get visitors from other places. So I'm curious if a Firefly, a former Firefly came through and was like, yeah, everything fell apart in Utah. It's like, Utah? Where were Joel and Ellie before they came here?
Coincidence?
I wonder if, like, I'm just curious, like, if Eugene... what is the actual reason Eugene, like, was it because Eugene was bit? Or...
No. Now I'm thinking it's because he knew too much.
Right.
That's a really good theory.
And then I think... Gail is perceptive, so she just might suspect. And if Eugene was part of the Fireflies, then Gail was part of the Fireflies, because they've been married for forever.
Oh yeah, they haven't really... I wonder why they wouldn't have mentioned that then.
Because I don't know, maybe it's just implied.
I guess, yeah, the connection is there.
So... I don't know. She just seems like... I don't think she's wrong about what she said. I do think she does seem particularly anti-Ellie. Where, like, this isn't Joel's fault. This is, nature versus nurture. This is nature. Basically saying she was born bad.
I don't know if she was... I didn't take it that way. I just took it as a reflection of, like, where Ellie is and, like, her positioning in Jackson because of her secrets, which makes people look at her a certain way, because really Ellie has to lie about everything.
Oh,
like, Ellie's interaction with everybody she meets is fundamentally protecting this huge lie, and, like, that's her starting point. So I think Gail just sees through her and hasn't come to a conclusion yet. I just think Gail knows that Joel and Ellie were hiding something, or so, I don't know, but, like, I don't necessarily think it's like these people are bad. I think it's just they are liars.
She was totally fishing Ellie for info too at the hospital.
Yeah. So I just think Gail's gonna be maybe like our vehicle into, I don't know, Ellie's social standing with Jackson. I'm really curious how that's all going to play out, because I can't really tell if, like, Gail is going to be this, like, person in her corner, or if Gail is going to
I'm curious about
actually
that
be
too.
angry and then turn things around on her.
I think I wrote a note about it too, like to ask the question of like, what now at this point in the show, Ellie and Dina are in Seattle. Are we gonna keep going back to Jackson?
I think we are. I think that's the only real reason to keep Tommy there. Outside of show Tommy, with how they've established him, it wouldn't really make sense for him to be running to Seattle anyway. There has to be a reason to keep Tommy back, and the only real reason is to keep that tether to Jackson.
I'm just curious as to what her purpose is in the current day.
Yeah, I have no speculation yet. Is she going to be this antagonistic force to Tommy? Maybe, I don't know.
Could, but she doesn't really state. Like, they had that whole conversation about the town hall meeting and stuff, but she doesn't state what her opinion on it is. I think that would be interesting about what. Because what would she consider? Like, is she? I don't think she's upset Joel's dead.
No, absolutely not.
So is she like, hey, justice was served, especially if she suspects shenanigans with how Eugene died.
And she totally does. I think she fully suspects shenanigans. And if she does have ties to the Fireflies, then I wonder if she is already side-eyeing Ellie.
But they left the Fireflies for a
unknown.
reason. They left the Fireflies. Eugene left the Fireflies because he was tired of killing. And
Killing people,
let me just state, the Fireflies, I don't believe the Fireflies. I don't think they're villains. I don't think they're heroes, though, that they portrayed themselves as. Like Abby's whole, we've got a code.
No, the code was, I think code was the WLF.
But the WLF, we saw what the WLF does.
Right, no, which, if that's your code, y'all need to go back and relearn your code.
I know, I do have this note. when that scene happened, where we saw what happened to the God, what is their official name? I keep forgetting. Sarah. I just keep thinking of them as scars, and that's a video game thing. That's a WLF term. And I feel like that's a derogatory. Like, I forget whatever. I forget what their name were called. The cult name, the religion.
Oh my god, the Seraphites.
Seraphites, yeah, I think you're right. When we saw what happened to them, which, by the way, Seraphites, you know, if you want to like not have the cult allegations, maybe don't scar children.
There's a whole lot. There's a whole lot that they can do to kind of sidestep that accusation just a little bit.
Like, you know, I mean, even the Amish wait for them to be adults before they're baptized. You got the whole Rumspringa happening. Can't you just like wait till they're adults before we're scarring faces?
They come back, yeah. They come back and get the scars. But we all, slight spoiler, we also know the Seraphites aren't that great sometimes.
No. Well, nobody. That's the thing, though. That's the story.
And,
that's The Last of Us. Nobody is the hero here.
We were even talking about Jackson, about how even Jackson, which I think out of all of the groups that we've encountered so far, Jackson is kind of posed as the people to be, like the kind of the moral high standards, but they are like, they're not. We had this conversation not on this chat, but before, even about the moral ambiguity of Jackson and like the overall purpose of like, we can protect our people.
Oh yeah, if you want to hear our season 1 thoughts, there's 2 Fireflies in the pod on all your podcasts.
Right. Where we do talk about Jackson, and I think that kind of came into it
You know what
in
the
these 3
difference though
episodes
is
too.
between Jackson, the WLF, and Fireflies? Jackson just wants to be their insular community. WLF and Fireflies
That's very
wants
true.
to rule people, wants to govern a society. I think the only reason, like, I think that's what makes the difference between why a Jackson is an idealized version in this world. Because
No, that makes sense.
I just don't think. I don't think a cure will bring back government and a good way of life or whatever. Like, I just, when people say he doomed humanity, I just don't see it at this point of where they are.
No, the world's too far gone.
Because I think it would just.
Do you agree with the council's decision though of no, or would you have voted yes?
You know, I think I do agree with them, actually. Because I think sending 16 people, like, if it wasn't 16 people, I might change my mind, but that just seems like a lot, especially, like that one lady said, they're still recovering.
That's where I'm torn, because I fully do agree where if like somebody comes and kills one of your own like that, like you have to retaliate, because at that point you're just showing that you're an innocent or
Yeah, I don't think Seth's wrong. I think the amount of people they wanted to send is not
that's where I got hung up to.
Is not smart. Like, I think it should be more than an army of 2 under 5/3s. But, you know.
I know, I am so curious, and it has to be because they cast Bella Ramsey, where they're like, okay, we kind of just have to keep everything proportionate.
No,
but just,
I don't agree with that though. Like, maybe with Dina.
I get it. I mean, I don't know. I'm fully Caitlin. I'm bought in.
So I
was very.
I am not completely. I am not against her. I think, the problem was, I think episode 2 showed me exactly what I was worried about with her and exactly what I know she can do as well. I think she really brought the emotion. I think she really sold her anger and everything, her want for revenge. I buy it completely. The scene where she's punching down on Joel, it seemed weak. it didn't look like a strong punch, you know? And when she's holding like the big gun, she doesn't feel military to me. She doesn't feel trained.
Yeah, I will give you that scene. That scene felt a little bit like, okay, this is like a 19-year-old girl holding a rifle. That,
you know,
like,
Joel's like, oh,
too big,
they're obviously military. I'm like, they're obviously how? Because of their guns? And
I guess like the thigh holsters.
Right. I don't know. People in that cannibal town probably had thigh holsters.
And I will say that I never want to criticize Bella Ramsey because I know she's getting so much hate, undeserved hate thrown her way. But I have voiced to you that I am a little bit concerned about Bella Ramsey taking on the rage storyline. But when she was on the ground and she screamed that I'm going to kill you, I bought into it.
Yeah.
But I guess you're kind of right too, that like the emotion is there, and like I guess seeing Bella Ramsey punch a punching bag a few times and like, oh, I did push-ups with a collapsed lung, like, okay. Does that mean you can take on a whole army? We'll have to see, I guess. So it'll be curious to see how they're going to walk around that, because I think they introduced Ellie fighting. They're clearly showing snippets of her fighting, and at this point it's like, okay, we get it. You're really trying to sell the point that she's physically fit and capable of taking care of herself.
Was
Maybe
she
a little bit too much.
introduced both seasons fighting? Wasn't she?
No, this season.
No,
This
but
season she was
wasn't
introduced
isn't
fighting.
that what happened first season? Or am I confusing the game? Did she jump out at Joel?
She did jump out at Joel. Yeah, no, she did. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. In the game too, but in a different way. Yeah. So Ellie just be fighting.
She's scrappy.
That's just what she does. Yeah. I am. It's so weird, you know. It's a weird way to think about it, and I'm not sure how much the games are making it more difficult for me to see, because I think the games were very Ellie looked older. Ellie looked like an adult version of Ellie. Bella Ramsey looks... I know Bella Ramsey is an adult. But I wouldn't bat an eye if you casted Bella as a teenager.
No, the physical.
And I know, like, she's 19 in the show, but still, like... I don't know if it's the way she carries herself, Ellie... Or maybe it's just like her brat girl summer that's happening.
It's brat girl summer for sure.
But I am 100% sold on her being able to sell her anger and the emotions of it. But I don't know if Ellie is in the game as like how I play Ellie in the game. Which is attempted
murder
stealth.
Corners.
Murder rooms and attempted stealth. Then I think it works. I just like the contrast of Abby and Ellie and how Ellie has to adjust because of who Abby was in the game.
Right. And that was a really big thing.
And I remember,
take a shot every time you say in the game, but in the game, Abby's physical appearance, her physical strength was a part of her character. Like that was like intrinsic to kind of who she was in a certain sense. And that's the only reason it's a little bit shocking to not see that on screen. I think I'm a lot more forgiving.
I feel like we are missing
about that.
I feel like we're missing not in like a purist sense, but in a character sense, we're missing something that could have been interesting. That's, I don't think...
the dynamic between the two.
Right. And just how Abby's... And just that physical representation of how the anger has affected Abby in her life. Like, you know, Ellie's going on this revenge tour and she's gonna do... stuff, right? But Abby has spent years just building herself up for this moment. Literally.
Right.
And I remember in the game, Shot, how nervous I was the closer they got together. And I don't know. Okay, so game spoil. It's just, I'm gonna not completely... There's a moment in the game where they're circling each other. And it's really good. It's a really good moment. And I was so anxious during the whole time. Because just how different their styles had to be in that little storage room warehouse place. And I'm just trying to imagine it. But obviously I don't have the imagination of this creative team because I couldn't imagine them killing Joel and having this horde raid thing happen on the same episode, and they did it well. So they did
it so well. I knew they were gonna do it well.
I just couldn't see. I was like, no, that's impossible. That can't happen. So I trust them. I don't think I will ever not feel like it would have been more interesting another way. The game way. To have that contrast between the two. But I still think it could be good.
And just how you have to adjust. You have to adjust for it too.
Right.
Like you have to adjust the fight, whatever. But you're right. It just makes sense to me that everybody is proportionate.
Jesse's tall.
Well, Jesse's he's not part of the equation.
Tommy's not very tall. When they were in that scene where she was going to talk to him at that like barn place, I don't know if he was leading or maybe like there was an apple box hidden somewhere. But he wasn't that much taller than Ellie. And you know, I'm not trying to shit on like short people. Like I am one of you.
Yeah, Ellie might be taller than you.
Ellie is taller than me. That's the sad thing. But I'm not on a revenge towards Seattle.
Right.
When I get hit in the head with something, I just go to the hospital like a normal person and just make jokes in the hospital because I have nerve
when
damage.
You get randomly attacked on the street.
But you know, it is what it is. I think I don't know if I don't want to keep addressing it because I don't think it's really that. It's not like a game break. I'm not game breaking. Oh my god.
No,
it's not show breaking
doing a great
at
job.
all. I still think. You know what's the crazy thing is though. Caitlin Dever.
I don't know how to correct you on that.
Neck
because
up
I don't know.
Looks so much like Abby.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like her braid, her face when she has her little beanie on, that weird way she wore it. I was like, that's Abby.
And the interesting part is, and I guess it's not interesting. The infuriating part is everybody who, so game lore, Last of Us lore, there's a huge subsection of people who really disliked the second game, which I think we can like discuss all of that later on.
In the short rest.
And a lot of people who absolutely hated Abby in the game love her in the show just because she is more feminine.
Yeah, that's gross.
Body-wise. And a lot of people who loved Ellie in the game hate her because she's not fuckable enough for them. And it's like, dude, she was underage for the first season. Like, calm down. I just like the whiplash of how their appearances is changing. Basically, the incels, the gamer boy incels, is, I don't know, somehow I can't comprehend it.
Yeah, so first of all, I feel like it shouldn't need to be said, but I after episode 2 aired, I typed this out on Blue Sky of like, listen, The Last of Us is a fictional TV show. It's completely fiction. 100% of it is fiction. There's no part of it that is real. These are fictional characters. Actors playing fictional characters should not get death threats for playing a fictional character in a fictional story. So,
thankfully, that part of it, like Laura Bailey, I don't think Caitlin's getting Laura Bailey levels of hate, which I was super worried about.
Oh, I just tossed all this stuff when I was doing that. I think Caitlin Denver didn't she deactivate her social medias after getting casted? Like,
I think you have to.
It's almost like being part of Star Wars, right? Like a woman in Star Wars, or even worse, a woman of color in Star Wars. In any of those shows.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just so, like, it's terrifying that people go to those lengths.
I've never in my whole life been upset, and I've been like, I will admit it, I can be too involved in shows. Like, especially when I was younger.
We have this sense of typing out rant and then being like, okay, it's out of my system.
Well, yeah, delete. I mean, that's why I have you. I'm not gonna type it on, but I've never thought I'm gonna at somebody because they made me mad. This person I don't know.
Or like going after, so Laura Bailey voiced Abby, for those who don't know, going after her kid.
Yeah.
Do you think Laura, I know that Laura had the cameo first season. I wonder if they're going to give her another cameo this season, like a bigger part in an episode. Like,
Well, she did have her face covered, right? She was just the nurse.
she did, yeah. And I don't think Joel killed her, but maybe
No, she
I
didn't.
don't
She
remember
didn't. That's
that
why
part.
Abby knows. You remember her whole
Right,
speech
okay.
to Joel?
Right.
They said.
So,
yeah.
I guess we do have room for a larger Laura Bailey cameo, which I would really like.
We can't do Ashley.
I also think we're getting Ashley again, only because she had the red hair again for a stint in Critical Role. And I don't see any other reason why she would dye it that specific shade. But I also don't see why I don't see in what context they would bring her back either. So maybe Ashley was just
Maybe she just likes
trolling.
that color.
It could be. Maybe she just felt like being a redhead for a second again.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Ellie can have a flashback.
True. Yeah, true.
So that would be interesting. Just then it's really like them in Star Wars. Like just I remember my mother. She was sad. Like she died when you were born.
You do not remember your mother.
But I don't know. It's interesting. These episodes have not been as long. I mean, they've been an hour long. I thought there'd be more variation between them, like there was in season 1.
I had that thought, and I'm wondering if we're going to get like the standalone episodes. And I guess there are certain situations where I think we can, but there's so much. And like, okay, they are spreading it between 2 seasons, but you and I were texting with like, how are they cramming everything in? So I think it's a little bit harder to have those standalones, but I think that there are certain circumstances where they could potentially have the standalones in a way that also moves the story along versus just having those pocket episodes, which is a shame because those actually were my favorites.
Yeah, like I don't see us having a Bill episode.
Right. But we could potentially have like a Sarah fight episode where it's moving the plot forward, or even something. I really want a solo Abby episode, and I don't know if we're just too far into it at this point.
Were you surprised that she wasn't in this?
Who?
Abby.
Oh, in the episode?
Yeah.
No, because I didn't notice until you said so.
Yeah, I thought we would see something about her, and because they're introducing the WLF. But it's interesting they did it. And it's interesting they did that, but also showed... It's so interesting. It's all so interesting. How many times can I say that? Interesting. That the way they're introducing the WLF. In a way... Oh, you know what? I bet you we might get the beginnings of a WLF episode.
I can see, with the way the last one ended, I can see that.
Like how they came into power in Seattle or something, or cuz I in the trailer I'm pretty sure it seemed to me, anyways, that we saw a young looking, and this will be a spoiler, but it doesn't matter because it's just the name Isaac, and you know, cast names are out. I thought we saw a younger looking Isaac.
In that crowd or just in the castings?
No, in the trailer, in the next episode trailer after this episode ended.
Oh, I need to go. I'm gonna watch that after we're done here.
Because there was a part where he's like, it looks like he's in like a military-ish type uniform. I don't know. Maybe he was part of Fedra at some point or something in Seattle. It seemed like people were coming up to him, but he didn't feel like, to me at that point, like how he looks in the other trailers when he's talking to the chained up Seraphite.
Mm-hmm.
Where he looks older, and I don't even think he had a scar. Could be remember. He looked younger to me. So I feel. So here's my question. You haven't seen the trailer then?
I haven't.
I'm curious if their next episode trailers are upcoming in the season trailers. Because then that means next episode is going to be a lot. Because there was that in the trailer they showed the red subway. Yeah.
That is so soon.
Right? That's what I was thinking. I don't know why. I don't know, maybe if I'm just having like an anxiety issue always, but like heightened because, the world sucks. But I was thinking about like the show the other day.
Big hand gesture.
I was thinking about the show yesterday. I had a little bit of an anxiety spike thinking, how are they going to get everything done? There's so much. I've never realized until thinking about how they put it into a TV show, how much game there is, story in the game there was. It didn't feel like a long game to me either.
No, it felt super short, mainly. And I think it just felt extended even in that because I just spent so much time hiding and dying. I truly did think for a second that Joel dying was going to be either the midpoint, the end of the season, until it was going to be the first episode, and I was wrong on literally every account. But like, there really is a lot to go through. Why they couldn't move the room forward. I really hope they capture the trauma of the Red Room, but I really do think they're going to Chernobyl that and do a really great job.
Oh yeah, Chernobyl.
Who's to say they're just so not? And that I have no doubt that they're going to nail that. But who's to say they're not going to change around the order of everything?
That's true, because in the beginning, I think they're going to skip a ton of Ellie arriving in Seattle, of what we played in the game. The whole getting into the wall, making reckless jumps on my end of the catwalks. Is like, they're not going to, I don't think they're going to do, I don't think Seattle's going to be that difficult to be entered into.
I mean, they're basically already in it.
Yeah, they're now outside of it, yeah.
So I'm curious. But this is why I like when shows change things up. I really like not knowing. I really like it when a new character is added and it changes dynamics completely.
Yeah,
it just makes the speculation a little bit more fun.
Yeah, that's like when we were talking about adaptations last time. Like, I'm not a purist, and I think I might actually be. I do think you need to match it in a sense. Like, you can't like Until Dawn it. I don't think that's right. That's not an adaptation.
Oh my god, don't you dare.
But like, even if you think about like 10 Things I Hate About You, you can see the bones about it, right? Like, of the Tammy Shrew. And I feel like you need, I don't know a whole point in watching an exact replica of something from something else. Like, I don't really need that. I like something new, even if it matches it a lot. So I like the addition of Gale, because now I can be like, why is she here? Catherine, you're not gonna hire Catherine O'Hara for a piddly 2-episode therapist episode, character.
Right, and you're not gonna change the whole storyline and hold Tommy back if he's just gonna be feeding cows the entire season.
I would like to say though, at this point in the game, we don't know. No, we do. You do. You're right. At this point in the game, Tommy had left without Ellie before she left. Right. You're right.
He was trying to keep her back
Right.
and go
That's
without
how he
her
was
to
trying to
like
help
spare her.
Right.
And I thought when he was like, "Oh, we're going to talk to the council tomorrow. Like, don't worry about it." I thought that was going to be his out to go.
Yeah, I really want to know. I don't think they'll ever. Maybe they will. Maybe it'll be a confrontation later. But I'd be really curious to see how Tommy voted, because I can actually see him voting no.
I can see him voting no too, and I think there has to be a reveal, especially with his conversation with Gail. I think he knew Joel's troubles. He sees, again, nature versus nurture. He doesn't want that for Ellie, and he sees how easy it is to spiral, because this is exactly what he lost Joel to.
Yeah, and he almost lost himself. He left Joel because he was part of it for a while.
Right. So I think I can easily just like him voting no for the sake of like just trying to save Ellie.
It would be interesting. I don't know, unless he tells her, I'm not really sure how she would find out.
I don't even think they need a confrontation necessarily. I just think it's a interesting character development that maybe will come out with Gail.
Oh, right, because Gail's still here. And she needs something to do. I'm so curious about Gail. I want to know more. I don't trust her. I like her.
She feels like a catalyst for something. She has to be a catalyst for something, and I don't necessarily think it's going to be something good. She's too suspicious.
Yeah, and when she was talking to Ellie in the hospital, to me, it didn't feel like she was trying to see if Ellie was okay.
It was trying to fill in the gaps.
Right. What was Joel talking about? I think she's looking for answers.
Or maybe she thinks that the lying is they killed Eugene for not being infected, and then through kind of following that, because she just wants a confession, then she accidentally unearths that Ellie's immune, and that's a completely different plot point, right? And we really don't follow Jackson to this far of an extent in the game, so maybe like that her suspicion of like, oh, you killed my husband leads to, oh, Ellie's immune, and who knows where that can go. But so many things to theorize.
Yeah, it is interesting to see where everything will turn out. I'm interested to see what they'll change, because there's so much with the Seraphites. There's so much to do. So there's so much. How are they gonna do it? I understand it in the game, because you play this character and this is happening, and then the next scene, but like a cohesive storyline, and you have all the stuff from in 10 episodes. See, we need to bring back 22 episode seasons, man.
I know. Give me the filler episodes. Looking at you, Farscape. Bring back this Farscape method.
Oh, did you know? I don't know if I told you this. Farscape has a channel on YouTube that just airs Farscape all the time.
You did tell me, and I haven't checked it out, which is something that I need to do in these times. I need John Crichton.
Back when people believed in science. What a day! What a time! What a time to be alive.
Talking about depression.
So yeah, I don't know. How do you feel about this point in the show for season 2 compared to season 1?
In what sense?
Because I remember, and again, I think they're doing season 2 really well. I don't know if
think
it's the
it's
novelty
fine.
of it. I remember being really enamored with season 1.
Same, because I generally think that season 2 so far is fine. Like, I don't when people like leave, other than the second episode, when people leave like glowing reviews, I'm like, I love that for you. I'm not seeing that necessarily, but right.
That's great. I'm glad you're happy.
Right, I'm glad. Like, great for you. I mean, I'm still excited. Like, I'm excited for next week's episode. But now I want to go back and rewatch the first season and be like, was this as good as I thought? Or was I just coming off of a high? Because, and a lot of people did have a lot of issues with the first season. So it'd
so
be a
hard to
curious
tell
experiment.
these days what their real issue is, though. Because, like, it's not a secret. I've said it a bunch today. Like, I wish they could have found, or at the very least, I wish they could have Linda Hamilton, Caitlin Dever. You know, like some sort of physical indication, like Abby had. Because I do think I think she's an excellent actress, and I think she's doing a great job with Abby. It's just, I think I'll always miss that aspect from the game. I think in that sense, the game is superior. But I'm not mad at the show, but like, I'm not like, when Abby's on, I'm like, oh, no. I think she's doing great. I just wish we still had that element in there. So, but a lot of people, I see a lot of their complaints just have a lot of the feeling of the complaints of the second game before that even came out, where it just seems like you're mad because this person doesn't look like how you think they should look at, like, and now you're gonna make it into an issue that it's not.
You're gonna make that your whole personality.
Yeah. And you know, I mean, it's tough too, because it's, so there's a couple of subreddits for Last of Us, right? And one, or there's probably multiple.
Dangerous place.
But you know, one is just really terrible. Like, all the phobics, all the ists, you know, all the bad.
Oh, I know.
And there's this other one that's supposed to be like the opposite of that, like, you know, just actual fans of the games or the show or whatever. But then it seems like anytime I see them pop up, and I've muted them. One, because I don't really want to see their thoughts before we talk about it or anything, but also because what a lot of them do is just screenshot that other subreddit and complain about them. I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, the whole point of this one is to not have to see that one.
Just enjoy the show. Just enjoy the show.
Like, why are you looking for things to get upset about? Of, you know, like, it's like, I'm not gonna go on Twitter and look to see what people are saying about The Last of Us. That's the last place I'd go.
See, I'll take a little peek, but then like even though I know I'm gonna get so heated, like I can't see Caitlin's name without, or Bella Ramsey's name without like getting a like defensive, just because I need to protect both of these women so hard. And I'd like, why am I even taking a little peek beyond the fence? Because I know it's gonna be the most bullshit, pointless take, and it usually is.
Oh my.
Again, the internet is just a wild, wild place.
Well, and Twitter is... I don't have a Twitter anymore. And I didn't really use... Like, I'm very bad with actual social media. Like, my personal Instagram is just my dog. I forget to post...
And cute little outfits.
Yeah. I forget to post... Like, I have like a backlog of shorts from games and stuff, but I forget to post on the Space Cryptid one. And I don't really know how that works either. Like, I think I messed up your Instagram by putting you as a collaborator. I didn't realize it would post on your thing.
Well, I accepted the invite.
I know. I just didn't realize it because then I looked at your page and it was like book game.
Listen, we're branching out. We're talking about movies. We're talking about games.
It's like it's like the aesthetic of books, and then there's like this
The Joel's face.
yeah, half opaque Joel's face next to like this game. I'm like, okay. I think I tagged you. I posted one for Gail, and I just tagged you in that one. But I'm okay with, if you want to still be a collaborator, I can keep doing that. I just didn't realize that that was going to happen.
I don't mind the collabs.
But I do think I wasn't wrong about Gail when I said in that episode. I do think Gail is a bit of an audience's voice. Although, with what she said about Ellie, I don't know if that's completely true anymore either. Because the way this is all set up is because we went through this journey with Ellie. Like, this is the whole thing. Like, there's no real point in trying to decide who is more right in their revenge.
Right. I mean, it's gonna spiral. There's no
right. There's no one more correct. Like, I don't think Joel doomed humanity. I don't think what he did was right necessarily, but I don't also like really totally disagree with it. I don't think what the Fireflies were doing were cool. Like, if they're giving Ellie an actual choice, that would be different, but they didn't want to wake her up.
It's easy to say you would have done something differently. I think a lot of people who try to bash Joel for his decision, if placed in the same position, would be walking out of that building with their son, their daughter, their child, their Ellie that they picked off the side of the road. I think it's a very easy to make that. I guess so, yeah, it is a selfish decision, but it's an easy one.
Right, but this is what Abby's doing is selfish too. Like, that's the thing. Like, neither of them are more right than the other. Like, I don't think Abby...
And at some point, somebody has to stop the revenge killings.
That's the cycle. That's the point.
Yeah, why does it have to be me? Like, why do I have to stop? Why do I have... Like, so, Joel did what he did, and that was not cool, obviously. So, then Abby gets her revenge. Now Ellie's going to get her revenge. And, like, how can you say it's okay, fine, Abby gets hers because of what Joel did, but then Ellie's not allowed hers? You know, because Joel is the father figure. Like, if we're talking about killing dads, you just killed mine, so now I get to kill you.
Right. Like, they've just been so much. So, like, you know, if you want, there's no one is better than the other. It's eventually, hopefully, somebody has to decide that this is enough. And that they're just going to have to live with it. Not exact. Like, they're going to have to be that Asian guy.
I just don't think that could be me necessarily. I'd like to think that I'd be that person, but in this world where essentially, especially like Ellie and Dina, they're growing up with a whole different set of moral codes and a world where killing isn't as taboo as it is now. I can easily see, especially for them, why it's harder to not keep that cycle going.
Yeah, I don't think there's a point in trying to decide who is the least guilty of them all. I don't think there is one. You know, like, I
agree with that.
Like, that's their world too. Like, and I think we're gonna see that with the WLF and the Seraphites too. Like, it's just that's the world. This is the world that they live in. What are we gonna do? They're all wrong. Like, if you want to live by today's standards, they're all wrong. Like, nobody's in the right. But the only reason that for Ellie, or it depends on who you want to be, the only reason why it's more okay for one than the other is arbitrary. Like, if Last of Us 1 was Abby's... Goodness. If Last of Us 1 was Abby's story, we would have cheered her on for Joel.
100%.
Like, that's
it's really just the perspective of who you're following that changes it.
Right, like, it's like, okay, I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt to somebody I know. I don't know you, girl. So, sorry. Joel's my guy, because I played him for 20 hours.
Right. I am super attached to Joel, so I don't like you. Sorry about it.
And I might have let you die a few times on purpose. Who knows? I don't know.
Just to see. Just to feel a little bit good.
Yeah. Might not have tried my best at certain points in the game. That's all I'm saying. But that doesn't mean... That's also... And what I hate is what I've seen conversations too about... Well, then you just don't understand what the game's trying to say. It's like, no, I understand it.
I just still have my feelings.
Right. Like, I completely get why Abby does what she does. It's the same reason, like, if you get that, then you have to get Abby. Then you have to get Ellie. But that doesn't mean...
There's no way, but I'm a petty bitch.
But then you can also be like, I understand why you're angry and why you wanted to kill Joel, my TV dad. But, you know, I'm upset about it.
Just stand there while I get my gun.
Right. So, can you just stay still because you're big and scary? And I'm under 5'3". Thank you. I just don't understand how they're gonna do everything. It is gonna be interesting to see the aftermath for Abby, I think, though. I am excited about that because I think that is where I think maybe where Caitlyn doesn't shine is in the physicality, but I think she's absolutely gonna shine in the aftermath acting.
I have no doubt. I'm just very curious with how they're going to structure the rest of this season and at what point are they going to call it for season 2?
That's a good question, where they're going to call it. I didn't think about that. Oh, I don't know.
I was going to say I have a partial theory, but I don't.
I have a partial theory.
Short rest it.
But we'd have to save that for the short rest. You know, they've got so much... You know what? When I was saying that it was annoying how they were doing that before, I think it's because I started with Campaign 3, and they were a lot more chill about it.
Oh, yeah. No, they were...
And then, but when they had started it was like, oh, don't get FOMO.
Yeah, it was just like the episode would end, and then one of them would open their mouths, and Jake would be like, short rest.
No, don't do it yet. And it's like, all right, come on, you guys. But now they're allowed to finish their thoughts, and then we're like, okay, we'll be at the rest. I appreciate that way.
We'll talk about the rest at short rest, yeah.
But, so, I think that's probably that for 2 and 3. Do you have any other thoughts? Any overall thoughts?
My final thought is when Tommy said, give Sarah my love, I got teary-eyed. That was painful.
Oh, yeah. I didn't expect the washing of the body scene.
Yeah, that was
a good addition.
Intense.
Yeah, that was intense. Yeah. Yeah. Man. They did it so well. They did the aftermath so well. And I really did enjoy, because we did hear about it before about how Jackson had been attacked. I did enjoy seeing how they defend themselves.
But where are they going to replenish all those bullets?
Or
That's
the
like
barrels.
I'm all for like separating like reality from TV shows and suspension of disbelief. I am all about that, but I just like they had to have used all of their ammunition, and maybe we do see the fallout of that. Who knows?
Well, I don't know. I feel like this is a suspension of, because this does seem like a world where bullets are plentiful. They're
Right,
not
where
struggling like I did in the game.
where in the game you would raid a whole house and find 2 bullets.
And you'd get like these drawers you can search, but they'd be empty.
Always empty.
And it's like, that's rude, game. I don't know why you would do that. Just tease me like this.
To make me do hand-to-hand combat. Good at it. I'm also not good at aiming.
That's why I need more bullets.
I'm not good at playing games.
Sure. You know what I hate is like there are like clever ways to do things. You know what the second game. In the game, I have upsettingly had to kill a lot of dogs.
I know.
And I really do think it's user error. Like player error on that. Because I
was watching a playthrough and somebody was like avoiding everybody, stealthing the people, and they got through sections in like 2 seconds where it took me half an hour.
Like hiding in this one
and
corner.
I cried. Right, and then the dog's trailing you, so you have to kill the dog. I suck at games.
And they smell you, and you're like, no, don't smell me. I don't want to do this. I played with... Excuse me. Just fall off the bottom? That's so rude. There's a section in the game where you can play with Alice in the beginning. The dog. Alice is a dog. And I spent, I think, literally 30 minutes just playing fetch with Alice.
Tossing the ball.
Yeah. I was like, I don't want to go further. I want to stay here. Because we already saw what happened.
Can this just be the game?
Yeah. Can we just play, the game is just fetch with Alice. That's what we're doing. Last of Us, the last fetch with Alice. It's just forever.
What's that game where you like farm and everybody is super about it because it's so cozy?
Stardew Valley.
Maybe. But that is just fetch with Alice.
That would be like the spin-off where you play you are in the WLF. But you're just like the dog handler. You don't go
and
out.
It's your day off.
So you're just playing with Alice. That would be fun. I'm interested to see if they have the same setup as in the game, the WLF. That would be neat to see.
Even Jackson seemed like, whoa. So I'm assuming they're
Jackson
gonna
seems so much more than in the game, I think.
Yeah. This is a fully established, like, the hospital and all of that. I was actually a little bit shocked to see just how...
the hospital. I didn't expect that at all, and I feel like I should have.
I don't know. It just felt like in the... Oh, God. I swear to God. Next episode, I'm really going to try to not say in the game. But, like, in the game, it just felt like kind of a rustic-y place still.
Yeah, like an old Western town.
Yeah, so it felt like... It just made me feel a little bit off-kilter.
Like your hospital is Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman's house or something.
Yeah, it's not like this like ER hospital where there's a psychiatrist
where they
on
got
staff,
like tubes and stuff and machines.
Good for them.
But you know, we did see, because it was so funny. Ellie was like, oh, just this little ragtag group, and then you see at the end the tanks and just this army going through Seattle, which it's interesting how much they haven't seemed to reclaim the city. From that,
maybe they don't. I don't necessarily think they. I mean, they have their little area. Maybe they just want their little area. I guess consider
it's easier to keep control the smaller your area. Yeah. Like if you have people like living in their own apartment somewhere, I'm sure that creates dissent in some spaces. I'm. You know what though? I think things. I think the game, not the game. I think the show is gonna go up from here, because the first 3 episodes is a ton of setup to get to where we're going.
That's a good point.
You know, and I do appreciate that they took their time with it, so like we can, because Bella did such a good job at Joel's house.
Heartbreaking. Oh my god.
Just, you know, I don't know how they did it, like with the tears just flowing down the face. I don't know if I've ever cried like that in my life. Like just,
it was so good.
Dripping, like there was just a faucet in the eye. And what I didn't even think about in the game, somebody has alcohol poisoning. They're doing shots. Ellie's old room.
That was because you do walk around the house, right? Like you come back and you kind of have your last memories with Joel.
But there was no Ellie's old room, right?
There was no Ellie's. Oh, maybe. I don't think there was because I really like that detail.
Well, yeah, because I don't know. See, this is the thing. This is the hard thing. You don't know if it's a spoiler or not. So I'm just gonna say it.
Spoiler coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
When we have the flashback of Ellie getting the guitar from Joel, the guitar from Joel, she was in the garage, and she was young Ellie.
Yep.
So, in my mind, that was always Ellie's room to give her a little bit more And I remember thinking in the game, that's going to be the name of this episode, in the game, I remember thinking, that's such a big house for just one guy, if she's going to be in the garage.
It seemed like I guess a dynamic that made sense, but also like, dude, she's like 13. She doesn't belong in a garage.
But she's a post-apocalyptic 13, so
that's true. That's like a city 20.
Which, like, if you want to apply those, Jesse and Dina are kind of because Dina is the same age as Ellie. I think they said Jesse's 4 years older.
Yeah.
So how long have they exactly been on and off?
Yeah.
You know, but you know, post-apocalyptic rules, I guess. It's like you kind of go back to like the 1900 rules of what's acceptable. I'm not saying Jesse seems like a really stand-up good guy with floppy hair.
I'm Team Jesse. I'm sorry, not like Team Jesse as in like who Dina should be. Just like I like him as a character.
That's another thing. That's what I was thinking as well. In the game,
God damn us.
Wasn't Dina canonically bi from the start?
It seemed like it. They ranked the kiss, but it wasn't like a. You know what? I don't know. I don't remember enough to say one way or the other.
It might be in the journal stuff of. There wasn't like, oh, this is my crush on my straight friend. Whereas like Dina in the show was like, well, you're gay and I'm not.
Yeah. So
she's like explicitly, at least at the current moment, uncertain. Where I felt like I always had the impression of Dina in the show was, yeah, I like both. What of it? Like it wasn't a surprise that she would kiss Ellie.
I guess maybe that just was what I assumed.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking? What I think this is one of my judgments that this is a good show. In my opinion, is it makes me want to play the second game again. And coming into the season, unlike the first game, like when in the first season, I did a whole playthrough of the first game again. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get up to date and stuff. I'm gonna remember everything. I just want a refresher on that. I thought about it for like a second. I was like, I love
I
the
can't
second
do it.
game. The first game is my favorite, but I think I love the second game too. Like I think they did it right, but it's a lot to play through.
Yeah.
And I have played it a couple times, but it's still like you get to certain
You have to
points
like
and you just,
emotionally prepare yourself.
yeah, like right now, the games I'm playing right now is on stream. I'm doing Fallout,
Yeah.
and I think some other little games on like Mondays and Wednesdays if I'm not home. I mean, if I'm at home, and on my PlayStation, I'm determined to get through Veilguard.
I was like, what game is that? Wow, I stopped trying.
Well, okay, so I don't think it's a bad game. I don't think it's a good game either. I think
It's a fine game.
it is a game currently that is interesting enough and not draining on my emotional capacity. Because I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know if I texted you this or I might have posted on Blue Sky or something about Veilguard. And sorry that we're going on another game, but I'm just gonna do it anyway. This is Twitch. What do you expect? The difference between like Veilguard, Dragon Age Inquisition, and even like Mass Effect is everything is so unearned. Your found family, your relationships, it's so easy.
Yeah, there's no stakes in it.
And you know what you're gonna say the whole time. Like, no, this is the romance option. Like, I had to work to get Jack. I had to be male shepherd, which F you game. But no, no offense, Mark Mir, love you, but Fem Shep is my Shep, Jennifer Hale. But I wanted Jack, so how
do you not want Jack?
right? Like, who are you gonna get? Tally? No, screw her. Canceled. But, and I remember just like, and one wrong move could put her off, and you didn't know what you were gonna do. You didn't know what options were the correct ones, or if you're pushing her too far or not enough,
right?
Or if you're gonna accidentally romance Ashley somehow, so now you have to kill her every run.
Yeah. It's a very methodical. I don't know if that's the right word, but
well, it feels
everything
like
just
real,
kind of slots
right?
into place.
You think you're being funny here, but you're actually saying, "I'm gonna kill your babies, bitch." She's like, "No, okay."
That was such a problem with Mass Effect, like
especially the first one. That's why you can never do Renegade, because you can't do like a full Renegade one.
Paragon options were like, well, I hate your face, I'm gonna kill your family. Bye. Like, all it said goodbye.
Yeah. Oh god, it reminds me of, you remember Walking Dead Telltale game? There was one moment I will never forget.
How could we forget?
Where it was with Clem, and the option I think was like, no, tell Clem no. And he said,
I have a memory of this.
He said something like really mean and sarcastic as a no. And I'm like, no, that is not Clem. That's not what I meant to do.
Yeah, I don't remember what he said exactly, but I remember like having to go back to a previous save being like, what was that, Lee?
I remember the feeling, and it was bad.
God, silent moment for Lee, man.
What did you choose
That's
to do?
not a spoiler.
No. Here's my thing. If something has been out for years,
right, at that point you just can't avoid it.
Yeah.
I think I had her shoot him.
Yeah, I did too.
You have to. You have to learn to pull the trigger.
I think it's a worse fate to not. Like, he wouldn't want that. But I don't disagree that he wouldn't want you to have to pull the trigger.
100%, but it's a life lesson that Clem can't avoid.
Right. Oh, God. Games. I love them. But yeah, Veilguard is too on the nose with everything. Like, and it's really apparent with Tasha's storyline, which I don't think is a wrong storyline. It's just so there's no subtlety about it. And that's the game. There's no subtlety about the game. But I do like the gameplay, and I feel like it's easy to pick up and drop to get back into. There's no like what my problem with Inquisition was it's such a long game. And the gameplay was different than what I'm used to. That picking it up again is like, oh god, I don't know how to play this anymore. Whereas I dropped Veilguard.
I feel that.
I dropped Veilguard for a few months, and I got back into it super quick.
But Veilguard also is a little bit more button smashy. Like, there's elements of like the Mass Effect fighting, which I like, but like it's like kind of like Mass Effect-y, but button mashy. So like, yeah, I could mash some buttons. That's not a big deal. Yeah, I still have no idea how to do some of the combos.
It's not a complicated like gameplay at all, which I think is I don't mind the change in how combat works in it. I know a lot of people did, but I think it's user friendly. But then I think they translated that into the narrative, and that was the mistake. Because it's very hand-holdy and easy, and I'm like, oh, then I'm not like invested. Like, oh, we're such a team, and we like since like I had to fight for Rex, which is why it was upsetting in the games when you don't keep your companions.
Yeah, like, oh my god, can we do an episode on Mass Effect? Just you should like play Mass Effect, and we should talk about Mass Effect.
As I'm playing it, just have you on.
Yeah. Me for commentary.
Just the story. Oh man. I remember. You know what though? I should have gotten it on sale. It was on sale, like the whole collection, during that big Steam sale, for like $10, I think. Which is how I also got the Fallout games. But I was like, I have so many versions of it on my consoles.
Yeah, it's hard to justify.
But it would if I said this is gonna be my Renegade run.
Oof.
And I think I can only do it if I have an actual audience, though, which I don't. Because then I still don't need to be held accountable. I can just change
I'm
the
Renegade.
title.
I just choose all the Paragon options.
I can just like change all the titles in my like edit out this is my Renegade run. And it's just like, I can't be mean. The only person I can be mean to, but I can't because I need the power, is Tally.
Tally?
I will never forgive Tally.
So painful.
My god. Couldn't even let me see your face. You're gonna do all that, you couldn't even let me see your face. What? Unforgivable. Unforgivable. And that was my first playthrough, and you know our rules. First playthrough.
Yep, that's canon. That's canon.
First playthrough is our canon. This is why Mike's dead.
So unfortunate.
I didn't move.
You made Mike move.
I didn't move. I didn't even have my hands on the controller. Like, that was Anyway, I almost had an Everybody Lives ending. Sonia had an Everybody's Live ending in Until Dawn, I believe, right?
I had a Mike lived. Oh my god, what was the blonde girl's name?
Oh, the girlfriend?
No.
Oh, the hated pet name or whatever.
Sam? Yeah, was her name Sam?
I think so.
Those were my 2 survivors.
You only had 2 survivors?
I think so.
What about Wolfie?
And Wolfie. Wolfie, arguably the most important survivor.
No, mine was almost an Everybody Lives ending, except for Mike. That's what made it so
arguably,
devastating.
It's even worse. No,
it was. No, because it was at
died.
the very end where they're in the house with the last Wendigo.
Yeah.
And they just need to get outside.
Keep it still. Yeah.
And I think there's like a fuse or something that they want to light on fire or whatever. And Mike's going to be like the last one out. And they're like, don't move. I was like, I'm not moving. I'm not moving. And the game was like, you moved. I was like, I did not.
She moved. No, I hadn't. Everybody died. But the 3 people, including Wolfie, survived. We're like, I'll take it. I will gladly
Emily
take
died
this
in your
ending.
playthrough?
I'm thinking maybe Emily did survive because I really liked her, and I remember being
We are so
feeling
unpopular opinion on that.
I know. I remember feeling very vindicated because she survived. You're right.
Man, I should play that. You know, they haven't had a good as game as that one. I feel like of their other games that came out. Their last one, the camp one.
They really haven't.
The camp one is almost like the Veilguard of that series.
Which is why I haven't played it. Everybody says it's so low stakes for...
It is. Because all the quick time events in Until Dawn, like, I was like, if I fuck this up, I'm screwed. Whereas they give you so much time, and there's no of that, like, okay, you got to make a quick decision, left or right.
Right, and like you have a split second.
Yeah. They don't have any
that
of that
pressure.
So,
which makes it boring. I want my like adrenaline to spike, and I want to cry.
Right. I do want my walking simulator, but give me like some stakes in it. Like, I don't mind having a movie game, but like if you add the point is the stakes. Like, you get these little quick time events. They got to actually be quick time.
Right.
Aaron agrees. It's so funny when she barks. She's so small. Her whole body, like, bounces when she does it. Yeah. Okay. So I think since we've talked about another game extensively, that is it for episodes 2 and 3. Yeah, no. This is the type of like, the rambling discussions is what I need for the show.
Exactly. Next episode will be a different tangent about something else.
No, in the game though. In the game, there might be if the red room happens in the next episode, there might be a lot of in the game.
That's fair.
So, you know, sorry about that, but in the game a lot happens, and it was very intense and emotional. So, but yeah, so I think that's it for 2 and 3. Do you want to plug your own stuff into our audience of 0?
Yeah, you can find me at Spooky Curious on Instagram, where I talk about horror, soon to be horror games as well, because I do play a lot of those.
Are you gonna start
and
streaming?
Ghostly Weeds on TikTok. No, I like this.
I thought that was your 2025 goal.
I like being your plus one.
If I play a horror game, I'll invite you along, and you can be like my be my ghost buddy. I thought, oh, you know what's on sale for like $8? Alien Isolation.
Which game? Oh God, that is a game I will never win.
No, I think that's the only game we haven't really finished, and that because we were too scared.
That game is terrifying.
We went into a closet or a locker, and then they were like, "Well,
we're still in the locker."
We are still in the locker." Yeah. So maybe I'll get that game, and I'll invite you along.
The accountability of having to finish it.
Well, yeah, gotta have a little ghost buddy help Ellen Ripley
You
start her
can
alive. If you do stream, though, you should do horror games with a.
That's what I would do, but we'll see.
Would you
we'll
do
see.
it with a face cam?
I don't know. The faces that I make when I'm playing a game and terrified wouldn't be great. Wouldn't be ideal.
But you don't know what faces you make because you can't see it.
I can feel my face contorting, and I can't imagine it's a wonderful look on me.
Okay. So that's it. I am space cryptids on all the other stuff. Not Twitter. But Instagram, YouTube,
Famously.
which the VOD will be on. Twitch. I think that's actually it. Instagram, the 3. I don't have it. Do you have a TikTok?
Ghostly Reads, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So we will see you next week.
Next week.
204 in the show and in the game.
I'm like, what the hell is 204? Got it.
All right. Bye.
Bye.